My girlfriend gaslighted me for months, denying her affair with my best friend, until I read their love notes and learned she met him while I was away, leaving me to get karmic justice. So, I've been living with my girlfriend for over 2 years now, and we've dated for about 6 years since we met in college. We've both been out of college for roughly 2 years now, and one of my friends who moved out of the country announced he was coming back to our country for a visit, and I offered for him to stay. Now, my girlfriend has never met my friend, we'll refer to him as Larry. However, Larry and I have Skype, and my girlfriend was often around and got to know Larry through me. Anyways, we were all excited. Then fast forward, Larry arrives, everything is well, but about 2 to 3 weeks into his stay, I become increasingly uncomfortable with the way Larry and my girlfriend would act together. I vented my feelings to my girlfriend, who assured me nothing was going on, and I didn't say anything to Larry. Eventually, Larry's little nuances got to me. We'd have little feuds over nothing, and I asked Larry to move out and find somewhere else to stay. Cue some bitterness between Larry and I. Now, Larry left last weekend. He's gone. A few days back, though, I noticed my girlfriend's Facebook had some messages from Larry, and when I asked my girlfriend about it, she quickly closed the window and told me it's nothing. Just Larry trying to get an idea as to why I was bitter at him. In my mind, I felt he was exceeding his boundaries as my friend, so I decided to cut him out. And my girlfriend, she would scold me and call me a miserable person. We even had a little fight about it when I told my girlfriend I didn't want Larry to stay over the night before his flight. Girlfriend eventually apologized, but I was still disappointed that she didn't have my back or understand my feelings. Anyways, I should go back to the Facebook messages. Today, I was just shutting down our PCs and the girlfriend had gone to bed, and my curiosity got the worst of me. I know this is bad, and I opened up her Facebook. She was already logged in, and I noticed a message from Larry that was unread. I opened it and went through their conversation history, and this is where I wanted to throw up. Basically, they met up at least once behind my back when I was on a business trip and wanted to coordinate another visit, but my girlfriend didn't feel it would work out. Larry replies back that he needs to hold her again and misses her very much, calling her things like sweetie. And I was livid. Words cannot describe how I felt reading that out. The combination of anger, despair, sadness, betrayal, and pure rage was too much for me to take. And girlfriend had also sent a photo of a campfire from this weekend saying when we were together that she took and sent to Larry, saying, "I miss you." Damn it. I confronted my girlfriend, had to wake her up at 1 a.m. and ask her at first, and she was sleepy and denied it all, but when I told her I had read her conversation history and that I was sorry for violating her privacy but had to know why she was keeping this from me, things became clear in her mind that I was very hurt by all of this. I explained my feelings. I was hurt, betrayed. I housed the guy and showed him a good time for a month, and even after all of this, you told me I was the crazy one? Now, my worst suspicions are true. My friend Larry is obviously cut from my life. Can't have toxic people like that around. But my girlfriend is another problem. I'm seriously head over heels in love with her and don't want to lose her. On the other hand, my heart is torn and I have too much self-respect to continue dating her. She completely thrashed my trust into the ground, and what's worse is humiliated me by going after one of my friends that I let stay with me. I feel like I've effed myself in a lot of ways and that I should have seen this coming, but I was naive. Anyways, we both have to work tomorrow, but I'm seriously at a loss for words. Girlfriend and I have only spoken a bit, but I mean, it is late at night. It's only about 4:15 a.m. while I type this, and I've gotten zero sleep tonight, even after driving around and bawling my eyes out in an empty parking lot. What she did tell me, though, was that she didn't think I loved her anymore. That every time she would try to talk to me about something serious, I would make jokes and laugh it off. I know this isn't easy to hear, and I admit to being immature, but damn, I thought we were stronger than this. I guess the lesson has been learned. Regardless, I'm at a loss for words here. I feel like us breaking up is inevitable, and it makes things so complicated, seeing as I just bought this house about 10 months ago, and we shared a dog. She's even driving a car that I gave her. I know splitting things up won't be easy, and to be honest, I don't want her to go, but like I said, my brain is telling me this is what we need, yet my heart feels otherwise. Then in the comments section, one user said, "OP, you reacted very well to this situation. Be careful about yourself. Force yourself to eat if you're not hungry. Do exercises for your tired body and sleep or take a cold shower. It helps to sleep, but stay strong. And once she has moved out, go no contact with her. And then confront Larry and let him know that he is now dead to you. Be brave." Thank you for the comment, and I'm honestly trying. I didn't want her to hear me crying in the other room, so I had to drive around and let it all go. I felt a lot better after a nice long cry fest, and I drove home with some of my most puffy eyes I've ever had. Even crying, though, was weird. It's almost like I had two voices inside of me saying, cry, let it all go, and the other saying, this cheating B-word isn't worth your tears, man up. I know that sounds messed up, but I'm trying to cope. This is all so damn fresh right now. Then, in regards to Larry, I actually messaged him just asking what is going on between them to give him a chance to explain himself. But I'm realizing this is an exercise in futility. There's literally nothing he can say that would result in me feeling any better, so I guess I don't even want to hear his bullcrap. I'll send him a short message telling him just that. He's dead to me. Then user 2 commented and said,
OP, that's fine. You got a lot on your mind, and to be unable to sleep is to be expected. Right now, you're kind of pacing yourself. You don't want to burn out. Just keep a steady flow until you're ready to rest up. And it's fine not knowing what you're going to do next. But what matters is you're giving yourself a chance to process this without having to worry about work. It's going to take time, but you've given yourself a day to just process and get a head start. Have you gotten in touch with anyone who can help you today?
Yeah, I'm just staring at my dog snoozing away and wishing I could be just this calm. I can tell my body wants to sleep, but it's my mind pacing that is keeping me up right now. And I haven't contacted anyone yet. I know most of my friends have to work today, so I don't think I'll get to see anyone. I don't want to sound brutal, but I want her out ASAP. Is this reasonable? I know she has to work and I respect that, but I want to be civil. But at the same time, I want her to get the F out of my house as soon as effing possible. My emotions are getting in the way of my typing right now, and I don't want to come off as an a-hole, and I'm thinking one day isn't enough notice for her to pack up and move out, so I might allow her to stay another night. As it stands right now, though, I'm the one sleeping in the spare bedroom, while she sleeps in the master. Continuing, you make good points all around. And yeah, there's literally nothing on paper that ties her to this house or any of my property. The problem is, she's paid for maintenance on the car that I let her use, so I think it would be fair if she just paid me a nominal amount for it. So recently we did the timing belt and an exhaust fix, and the total cost was about $1,200. I would feel like I'm stealing this amount of money from her, especially since I don't even need this car and would sell it immediately. Update: 20 days later. So it's been almost 20 days since this all went down. I've had a lot of time to myself and jobs keeping me on the road, so I've had a few business trips in the meantime to keep me distracted. I am so far enjoying my new lifestyle that I'm trying to build for myself. There's a lot of free time I have, and I'm enjoying having full control over my schedules and tasks that I do day to day. Being able to plan for just myself is alleviating, and I'm starting to look back and see all the flaws that were present in my past relationship that I now really see as red flags. Overall, I was pretty unhappy when I was with my ex. I'm recognizing that now. I bared with the unhappiness and kept going because I felt that this is what normal guys do in long-term relationships, the sunken cost theory. Also, I thought she was loyal, so case in point, I did not see any point to break things up. So from that point of view, I recognize I have some personal faults that I need to fix in order to consider myself healthy again. Continuing, I met someone when I was on one of my trips and we had sex in my hotel room. It was one of the worst sexual experiences I've ever had. It was way too early after the breakup, and in my mind I was just thinking I would be horny and F someone else and give myself a break, but the second we started to have sex, I felt myself get hit with a tidal wave of emotion. I immediately thought of my ex, since she was the only person I had had sex with before, and the actions, thrusting, etc. were so enamored in my head from being with her that looking down and realizing I wasn't made me sick and very upset. I couldn't finish, and I ended up rolling over and trying to hold back my tears. Thankfully, she was understanding when I told her I had just gotten out of a relationship, and she decided to leave without any commotion. She was even nice enough to tell me she knows how it feels and that it will get better with time. Definitely not going to call her again, though. I regret even putting myself in that scenario, but granted, I learned something about myself afterwards. Continuing, my ex didn't really have any of her own friends. This should have been another red flag. She was constantly around my friends, and being honest, I didn't really mind. But now that I see how broken that is for a person that lack any best friend or a group of people they saw before we got together and continued to be together. My friends have always been there for me, even the ones I knew before my ex. Granted, she's now on her own. I have no idea who she's talking to about this whole scenario aside from her immediate family, and I don't really care. Then I've had the talk with the few mutual friends that me and Larry had. Everyone is pretty much shocked, but they also told me that they had a feeling something was going on, but Larry would lie to them when they would ask. Larry has since tried to reach out to some of them and tried to rectify the situation, but they've already heard the story from me first, so most of them have cut Larry out of their lives. But to be honest, I'm not very close with these people and don't plan on growing to be more close to them in the future. Larry was the only crux of our relationship, so if they do continue and associate with them, I would definitely not be happy, and I wouldn't mind cutting off contact with them as well. And this actually became an issue with one of our mutual friends. We'll call him John. John is a good guy. We have similar interests and he was around a lot of the time Larry was. John was over at my house this past weekend since he just picked up his new car near a dealership near my place. He lives 1.5 hours away. So John and I are shooting the crap and it's kind of inevitable for us to talk about what happened with me. And he did bring up how he spoke to Larry and how Larry is still lying to him. This kind of irked me. I told John I didn't care about Larry, and that if he's going to continue to associate with Larry, then I can't see us continuing to be friends. John was obviously a little upset by this, saying he just can't process what happened and wants to give Larry a chance to explain himself. I told him that's fine, but again, it's like he's condoning these actions, and if he wants to get burned in the future, that's his own decision. I just don't want Larry around me in any shape or form, and if John wants to be around me, he needs to understand that. It's not like Larry broke my car and refuses to pay. The guy stabbed me in the back, and I can't ever forget that, even if in time I find it in myself to forgive Larry, which right now I cannot. Larry is dead to me. We spoke only very briefly after I kicked my ex out, and it was mostly us cursing at one another. Very childish. Like I said, I knew I wouldn't get any closure out of talking to the guy and hearing him try to explain himself. Larry and my ex are both very broken people. They blame others for their own unhappiness and feel it's justified when their behaviors cause others to become upset. Now, as for me, well, my head is an effing tornado about 12 hours of every day. I've been smoking pot to keep my cool and enjoy video games, but there was a lot of time when I avoid it altogether because I know I feel depressed, and smoking pot will only drive me to be more sad since I will dwell on my feelings in the past. Moving on is one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my whole life. And I've heard stories from others saying how happy they are to hear that this happened to me. And why? Well, they've had the same thing happen to them, except after 30 years of marriage and 3 kids. So they felt like not only were they robbed of some of the best years of their life, but now they also have a financial obligation towards the person who manipulated and hurt them the worst. I don't feel better about hearing how worse it could have been, but I'm happy we never had any kids or decided to marry, and I definitely would have been dealing with another sideshow of a scenario. And then here's another kicker. My ex's sister, who's only 2 years older than her, did the exact same thing at the start of this year to her own husband literally 3 days after we got back from their destination wedding. She met another guy at their wedding and decided this was the guy for her. Effed him, still went through with the wedding, and afterwards everyone got back, broke it off with the dude. I didn't know the full story, and at the time we had just moved into our new home, so I invited her to stay with us until she got back onto her feet. When she started seeing this new guy, I was really uneasy about it. This was also complicated because she was living here and didn't seem to have any plans to move out. I had to coach her sister on how to get a loan for a down payment, how to talk to landlords, etc., etc. Very immature family. This should have been another huge red flag, but I ignored it and had to deal with the consequences of it. And I've actually reconnected with her ex-husband, Tim. He and I were friends throughout our relationships with these sisters, and I was sad to see Tim go the way he did, but I was on the sister's side by association. So even if I felt things were not right, there's nothing I could have done about it. But in retrospect, I should have kicked both of these crazy ladies out and told them to get a life. And then, more about me, I'm hitting the gym, trying to eat healthy, having more one-on-one time with my dog bro, and just overall trying to take it easy. This is such a huge change in my lifestyle that it's not something I can adjust to too quickly. And even though my work schedule has me flying somewhere new every week, it's really rough still managing everything and ensuring I'm not stressing myself out with my own expectations. I'm still used to having my ex-girlfriend's voice in my head, telling me to rush home and be with her. I've been having a lot of dreams where I see her and Larry together. They're both tormenting me. I've had dreams where I kill Larry and I crush his skull with a hammer and run over his head with a truck, and I feel bad about these dreams because even though I want revenge, I don't like causing pain to other human beings. And it's not like I can't hurt him. I've hurt others in the past, through sports, but I never took pleasure in that, even though my teammates did at the time, and it's just not in me. Even though I would love to visit him in his home country and kidnap him and cue some torture, these are just weird things I say to keep myself from going insane. I still feel a lot of pain and guilt about what happened, and I shouldn't have to. This is a process, I know. I always go back and read the original thread I started when I'm feeling weak and want to text or call my ex. I have held strong on the no contact, but a few times I did message her. One time I found a receipt for a couple's massage retreat when I was out of town on another occasion, and I just wanted to let her know that I found another piece of evidence, but really, there was no point to this. I was just in pain and feeling weak, and she lied through her teeth about everything, told me how she wanted me back and how she wants to unalive herself, and it felt kind of good hearing that, but still, it's a twisted feeling, and I know I shouldn't be speaking to her. She is toxic. She lies and had no problem deceiving me, and I just feel like such a fool for spending so many years of my life with her. And to top it off, the amount of humiliation I feel when I imagine her with Larry is just beyond this world. I used to have a lot of self-confidence, but now I feel like a literal piece of crap. I feel used, worthless, ready to be discarded, almost as if I deserved this to happen sometimes. And then other times, I feel like I can rebound from this and try to build myself up. The best times I feel is when I'm in the gym or running outside. And thinking about the two of them has fueled a few good sets for me, and I hope to continue taking advantage of this hate for a little bit longer.
Now here are some more relevant comments. User 1 said, OP, just be careful and don't make the mistake of getting back together with her. And I would honestly avoid too much socialization. It's surprising how easy my friends have been sucked back into unhealthy relationships after swearing they would never get back together. Just take your time, continue to live your life to the fullest, and don't look back.
Yeah, you're right. And even in my original thread, a lot of commenters said the same thing. I've had friends in real life say the same as well. Even as I type this, I just want to call her up and tell her how much of a B-word she is, but I know it's all futile. No contact is the way to go.
And then finally, user 2 commented and said, Hey man, I was actually about to message you last night to see how you're doing. All things considered, you're doing just fine and hanging in there. I wouldn't sweat things too much. Everything is going along just as it needs to, and it looks like you're handling it just well. It does suck to feel used and to be betrayed, but the trick is realizing that the come around, it wasn't you who was discarded. You were the one that got rid of a couple of losers. And you're going to places, to great places, and they were just too chicken crap to keep up with you. And while it sucks that things ended this way, look on the bright side. You're gonna meet a girl in time who is going to be what you need. This, Remo Williams, is where the adventure begins.
Hey there. I wanted to thank you personally for taking the time to help me through those initial 24 hours. You really kept my head cool, and I can't thank you enough for being there for me.
So, to give my opinions on the matter, I think the most surprising and unsurprising thing about this whole story was the fact that the older sister of 2 years did the exact same thing. Where are these women learning this behavior? I feel like if we got more information on the mother, we would not be too surprised, okay? The apple does not explode far from the tree, or however that saying goes.
But hopefully OP finds someone to talk to, whether that be a friend, a therapist, his dog, or whoever, just talking it out and having someone there for him. And most definitely, hopefully he does not go back to the ex. I have a friend too who also wants to go back to an abusive ex sometimes, and I'm like, don't you dare do it. Baby girl, it's not worth it, I guarantee you, okay? But anyway, guys, we are at the end of the video. Thanks for watching, commenting, have a really good day, and bye-bye!